up as a musician, one of the things that I got frustrated by was that I tended to feel limited, like, you know, you have a band and you play with the same people, and I like that. I think that's, you know, I think that's sort of ideal, that you develop mutual ways of thinking among the people that you play with, and you know, get to anticipate what they're thinking about and understanding how they want to move sound through time, you know. That's all good. If you're going to be, a product like that, you know, I came up in bands and we played for people who danced. So that's like, first rule, not too many slow songs. You know, you have to give them a break every now and then and throw in a ballad, right? You know, but for the most part, your job is to make them dance. And I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, you know? I really like, Emma Goldman said to the Russians when she went, you know, she went to Russia anyway, and she said, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution. And that makes sense to me. But, but still, you're getting confined that way. And, you know, you have a band, and we switched around instruments a lot when we were teenagers. You know, sometimes I play the bass, sometimes I play lead guitar, sometimes rhythm guitar, you know, and we'd all kind of switch around on that a little bit. But the problem was when we went out to do it, like, that was confusing to, you know, we're supposed to just get up there and slam shit out so people could dance, right? And so you eventually narrow into that just because, and you end up, you know, by the time I was 18, I was playing saxophone instead of guitar, and that's what I did for the next few years. And so my job was to, like, learn the heads and play solos. And I still fooled around on the piano, but, you know, but, you know, like, for the thing to work well, you know, we had these specific roles and we did these specific things, and all good, you know, and people were able to digest that and follow it and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, that was just this little tip of the iceberg of where I was interested in music, you know. That was like, had I gone to a school or something, I could have been in a composition class, and by force, you know, written things that other people had to perform. The politics of that never interested me very much at all. It was compelling people to do things because you want them to do them. To me, that just isn't. I dislike that whenever I have to do a job I don't want for the money, you know. Yeah, I don't like that. That's giving orders is just as bad as taking them, right? You know, it's the idea ideally would be that we encourage and explain and stuff like that, and get consensus cooperation, right? You know, better thing that. Anyhow, I think a lot of the way that we socially approach music forces people into specializations that they don't really feel. And that's not the, like, well, I want to get to do everything because I'm me kind of thing. It's just that I'm curious about this, I'm curious about that, I'm, you know, curious about the other thing. And I also think it puts sort of a shelf life on musicians that, I don't know, when I was in my 40s, I started being in bands with people that I was the same age as their parents, and same with the people for whom we were playing. I suppose I could have retreated from that and like aimed toward my own age group more. But I gotta say that, you know, I go in a bar and see a bunch of old guys playing like rock and roll blues music that they played in high school. Yeah, to me that's just sad, you know. It's like, man, did you close your ears when you were 18 or what? You know, like where did you grow from this, you know? I won't mention any names, but I went to a punk rock show one time, and they were the same age as me, and I was in my 40s by then, and I was ashamed. You know, here were these bands, and they'd been sort of well known back in the day, and they're up, you know, doing their old songs, and it's like, shit, dude, you're 45 years old, and you're like singing about teen angst and having these simplistic ideas about how like they won't let you and stuff like that. It's like, you know, I don't ever want to hear they won't let you from anybody. You know, like we're here on earth to like do something, you know. It's cool when you're young to figure out where your barriers are and how to break through them, you know. And so a certain amount of like teen angst whining, that's inevitable in anybody's life, because you hit these barriers and you go, shit, you know, I'm not, you know. And it's not really that you're prevented from doing anything, it's that you're just not really rewarded for doing things. And so you figure that out. Well, you know, and this was what I was thinking about this show is like, if like you guys are middle-aged, you know, like if you haven't figured out by now, like how to solve problems and move through them, what use are you? What is this like defeatist, like self-involved propaganda shit all about from you? You know, like who cares that they won't let you? You know, I don't. It's you know, you're just whining. You know, and so yeah, anyway, so I didn't want to like keeping doing what you started out doing with loyalty to this cause. I think that's kind of silly. You know, you should grow and you should like evolve and all that kind of stuff. So here's the next thing is, well, okay, but then what? You know, like, if you want a group of people that has the time to be interested in music and do things, they're generally younger, you know? So do you hang around being like 45 pretending you're 23? Or do you, you know, how do you solve this? And part of the thing is you kind of have to maybe let go at some point of, there's a big difference between them letting you do things, like the world will let you do anything that you want, you know. You have to figure out how to do it. I'm sure some places is harder than others. Like, you know, if you're in an enslaved state and there's like military people holding you down and stuff like that, yeah, it's a lot more difficult, but you can still do it. You know, Olivier Messiaen wrote the quartet for the End of Time in prison camp and performed it, you know, in a concentration camp. It's, people do things regardless of anything, you know. It has to be within the context of that, you know. he wrote that piece for a 3-string violin because the 4th string broke and they didn't have it. They couldn't replace it. That's what they had. They had, the piano, the clarinet, the violin, and is there cello? I think so. I haven't listened to that for a while. Anyhow, they had what they had and they did something with it. And that's what you get to do in life, and it's up to you as an individual to figure that out. I don't even know where I started with this.